Hello and welcome to my world of crochet. My name is Stine and today I'm here with you for another yarn talk video. And as you know, we cannot really talk yarn without me having my faithful mug of tea here, which today is a really good classic black blend with a flavor of bergamot that creates it to be an Earl Grey tea. Earl Grey for me is often like a comfort tea, and today is a little bit grayish outside, so yeah, comfort tea seems to be the right choice today, this morning, at least that's what I think. So obviously I've been working on various projects since last yarn talk update, and I finished finally the hat that I was working on in this umami tweed yarn from Hobby. So it's finished. It's nothing more than a simple double crochet all the way from the top. I start with 12 double crochets in the center, and then I work it out with 2 double crochets in 1 stitch, and then it's 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, etc. Until it has the right size. And then I just work double crochets all the way down, and then here on the bottom I make a single crochet border, but I work backwards in the round. Just to give it like some sort of extra twist or edge. So with this particular hat, the final goal is to donate it to a good cause, because yeah, I hope that I will be able to make people happy, and the good cause basically helps people in need. And these people can be people that's either not so financially well off, so that they live on the streets, but they can also be refugees from countries where there are war, etc. And these people, when they flee their countries, when there are such a horrible thing as war, they don't bring all their belongings with them. They just bring the small bare necessities that they might be able to carry, and depending on what time of the year they flee, etc., they may not have such essential pieces as a winter hat. So there are options enough for where these options and items can go to within this good course, and I'd like to be able to support them in that way. But yeah, it's fitting, and it's a slightly bit smaller than the previous hat I made, because if I added another round to it, it would be way too big. Really, like, I would swim in it, and I have probably like a medium to large sized head. And if I swim in it, I think most people would swim in it. But I finished this one, and yeah, let me show you. Don't laugh at me, please. It has enough for me to pull further down if I want, like, so it has some extra edges, but it sort of has a good fit. It's a bit of a tight fit for me. It's just on the edge, but yet I can't get a hand under it. I personally prefer them a little bit more spacious, but it's okay. So I think I will classify this hat like a small to medium sized. And it's perfect for what it is. So I've been wondering to maybe make an extra. I still have some yarn left from the first one I made, which is a gray one in acrylics, but to do it in a slight different pattern. I haven't decided yet, but in any case, here's one more hat down for the collection, and it was made in this umami tweed yarn, which is 75% premium acrylic, 22% wool, and 3% viscose. And I had the ball of yarn, and I just had a single ball of it, because I got it in a lucky bag back at Valentine's Day. They had these Valentine lucky bags, and the yarn was in that bag. And with one skein of yarn, sometimes it's difficult to find the right project. I have a little bit of yarn left, but I think it was perfect for the skein of yarn. So I decided that was a really good purpose for the yarn, and hopefully someone will be really happy with this lovely hat. So yeah, at least I hope I will make somebody really happy with that hat. Then I also have been progressing very well, I would say, at least personally, on my baby blanket in this shell stitch. And right now I actually don't have any new ball, well, here where I'm sitting right now, that's more correct. I don't have the next ball of yarn ready, but I finished up what was left on the second skein of the ice yarn. So right now I am here, that's the end, and I need to add a new cake, basically, or cake skein. So this is where we are at. We are still progressing. So this is where I ended last week, which is basically the start of the round. And I ended up having a full round done of the preparation for the shell stitches, which is basically the V stitches and the chain 5 and the V stitches and the chain 5, etc. for the preparation of the shell stitches. So I had a full round ready to start working in shell stitches, and I did a full round of shell stitches, and then I did a full round of preparing for shell stitches. So again, these as you can see up here, the V stitches, chain 5, and here we have the corner V stitch, so that's a V stitch, chain 3, and another V stitch all in the same stitch, etc. all the way around. And then I started on the next round of shells, and that's kind of where I added. So that will be the last round. I still miss a bit, so that's probably a bit more than a half round, or not a half round, a half side of shells. And then now I need to add more white. The real question, of course, is how much further do I need to go, because I also want to add a border of pink to this. And right now, excluding the shells, it's about 70, I would say with shells, it's probably gonna be 74 to 75 centimeters, which means I still have a couple of rounds to go at least. I have at least 2 skeins of white laying, and I also have 2 skeins of the pink. I need to check if I might have an extra skein of white before deciding how much white I want to work in, because the idea was to have at least some white left for after the pink. So like that I will, on top of this, I will add this 2 or 3 rows of pink, and then I will add a couple of rows of white kind of to finish it off again. That was the idea, but I need to make sure I have yarn enough to actually complete it. I do believe 70 some odd centimeters yarn size is still a decent sized blanket. Of course, I would really like to add another, like to increase the size of this by like a quarter to a third, ideally. But I will have to look into if I do actually, I think I do have, but I'm not 100% sure, and I'd rather be sure and safe than sorry. I don't like playing yarn chicken, yet I do often end up playing yarn chicken. But that's the idea of the baby blanket right now. So I need to, I just need to work a little bit more on it, and hopefully I have enough yarn to do that. But I progressed well, I think. One of the reasons I had time to also progress well on it is because I did not, well, I did start on my tutorial for the leafy shawl, and the leafy shawl, of course, I'm also still working on in a different type of yarn than what I wanted to make the tutorial in. I did sort of start on the tutorial, and then when I started digging deeper into the process of creating it, I realized that yarn that I'm working with right now, or have chosen for the tutorial, is very dark and it's gonna be difficult to see. And I thought, I even have a white background. Still, it seems pretty dark, but it doesn't seem that dark in real life. So therefore, the conclusion is the lighting for the atmosphere, or how I do this, it's just not good enough. The light is not good enough for this. So as it comes to in any content creator's life eventually, I have realized that I will have to invest a bit of money into getting a better light setup before I can continue with this tutorial to make it better. Of course you could say, yeah, but you could use another yarn. I can, but it's just not the same. I can use a different yarn. Absolutely, I've done that before. The thing is, I want to use this yarn, and I can also see for other projects, a little bit better lighting will be better for me and will be better for the content that I make. And if I am going to spend so much time making content, like some things I can retake maybe 5 times to make sure it's good or the right quality, at least for when I make tutorials. At least the newer tutorials do have several retakes sometimes. I also want to make sure that the overall quality is good, that it's not too dark, and that I do provide you good learning some content. It's not just gonna be something that's gonna be cranked out quickly. At least not my tutorials. I want them to be good quality. So it's an investment. It's an investment I need to make, and it's cool. I was prepared that it was going to happen sooner or later. But that said, I am still working on my leafy shawl with the Stanley cotton cake, which is what I have right here. So as you can see, I've changed color again. At least if you're following my yarn talk videos, you'll be able to see I changed color. I am now working on the first part of this. I would say it's a little bit dark mint, maybe dark mint color. And I added a full 6 rows or rounds, however you want to say, to this shawl. So I'm going to, I just need a bit more yarn from the cake because else it's too little or too short to be able to make the stop. So let's see, I can, and I am able to hold it up here. This is how it's looking right now. And a bit closer up. This is the overall look that you're having. I think it's a really nice, progressing really well. You can see here also how it's transitioned into this lighter green. Yeah, I think it's gorgeous, to be honest. I wonder if I can actually display all colors like this. Yeah, I can, sort of. That's a color change we have so far. And I'm going to progress working on this. And meanwhile, I'm looking into, and I am ordering some better lights so that I can get the right lighting conditions, because I do believe the chosen cake I have, the chosen yarn I have, is going to make a gorgeous shawl, and that's what I want to make the tutorial from, or I have to make not a third shawl, and I'm not really in the mood for that, at least not right now. Therefore, I'm first gonna make sure that I have the right conditions to create a good quality content for that tutorial. That's basically the plan. It's 100% cotton cake that I'm using from Stanley Yarns. The 100% cotton cake here started as 250 grams. There is definitely not 250 grams on it anymore, more like maybe 150. It's 1,000 meters for 250 grams, and they recommend crochet hook 2.5 to 3 millimeters. I am using my 3 millimeter hook. Right now I am working with the Clover soft touch hook to get an idea of the feeling of these hooks. I do like the fact that they're really light. At the same time, it also feels sort of like you almost don't have a hook between your hands. But I'm working extra with them to be able to provide you a really good review of these. And I also want to give you the really good review of the prim hooks. There's so many things I want to make you guys reviews from. So that's something I definitely have to get done over the summer, because obviously I have so many things I want to make review from. Well, it's not wrong. It's just, I'm trying to make sure that you get everything and that you get my full opinion, and again, that I'm not missing out on anything. When you watch reviews of things, do you like to watch them graded like 1 to 5 or 1 to 10? Just curious if you do or if you don't, or if it doesn't matter for you, if you just want a general talk through of things. What do you prefer? Please comment down below. I would love to hear that from you if you have any preferences, because I also want to make reviews that's useful for you and useful for more people who's looking into if it's worth an investment of their money. Because when we buy things, we tend to rely on reviews of others, because of course we need to spend our money wisely. So how do I ensure that you get the knowledge you need for your decision making? I'm not going to tell you if you should buy them or if you shouldn't buy them, but I just want to make sure that you have the details, that you know if you're buying crochet hooks or if you're buying yarn or whichever. Like, let me know what you think are some of the most important details when you're watching yarn reviews or crochet hook reviews or just accessory reviews in general. Please let me know. Comments down below, I would very much appreciate it. And before we don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you do like these yarn videos. But I still have one more project that I am currently working on, and that is my Oasis cardigan. The Oasis cardigan is by Drops Design, and I am crocheting in this lovely Drops Baby Merino mix, and it's the most soft and wonderful yarn. It's a pleasure to work with, and it's a pleasure to feel, and I don't know what to say except like I'm curious if it's just such a pleasure to draw to carry and wear as well. I actually expected this because it's so soft feeling. This is a donut that I'm working on currently, and I finished the full first part of the A1 part of the pattern. They have several diagrams for this vest, and I need to read very well through and carefully the instructions before I start on the next part. But this is how far I am. This is worked in the round, so it's a vest or a cardigan worked in the round. I will eventually add sleeves. And this is on the back piece. So this is basically the center of my back, what you see here. And what you can see is that it starts from center, and I work out in fans here. And then between the fans, I have chains with a double crochet in between. That's creating this sort of net between the fans around here in the circle. So I'm ready to add the next part of the pattern, and I did print out the pattern because I don't know if you're experienced with drops. Drops is not the easiest patterns to follow, not even for me. Let's face it, I first started reading crochet patterns. I'm thinking April, May last year. So that's like, let's say 14 or 15 months. And when I read the crochet patterns from Drops, I'm just being like, okay, why did I get myself into this? Because it's not making sense, and I need to read them like 10 times before I really understand them. And because of this, sometimes it's easier to print them out. I do highlighters for where I find important bits, either because it's related to my size or I need to know where we're working at, etc. So I printed it out. I simply took the liberty to print out this pattern. That would be a small photo of the vest that I will eventually, hopefully, be wearing. Just not in a light yellow. I will have this lovely light gray instead. And I finished the A1 part of the pattern, which would be this one. So this whole diagram is this. Ta-ta! I succeeded. I only flocked it like 2 times before I actually understood. And I work with diagrams, that's not the problem. But, you know, I read through it and then it says repeat so many times, but apparently that was including the first repeat I made. So I had too many rooms between. It's cool. We live and learn. The next step I have to do, let's see if I can find it. It says here in the pattern, when A1, which is what I've completed, has been worked 1 time vertically, follows as work A2 over the fan in A1, and then work A3 over the remaining double crochets change in A1, and then repeat 7 times. So you have 7 times in total. Okay, okie dokie. Let's see if I can find it. So that will be this diagram up here. It says this is A2, and then work this over the remaining. I think that when I look at this, where do I have the other one? I have the other one here. I have, you can see down here that I have 6 double crochets, and I finished the other one off on 5 double crochets. So it will be 1 more normal round, and then I will add this round. For the next time, I will add an extra row of fans, and then I will split them up again. That's how I read this. Of course, they also then have different sizes, and I'm not really sure how to understand that, but I will get there. This is how it will be assembled eventually. So you create one big circle, basically. You add some front side panels and some sleeves. It's gonna be interesting, honestly. I don't know where we're ending, but I hope it's gonna be as beautiful as on the photo, and that I end up understanding this without too much hassle, because I think it's gorgeous and the yarn is absolutely gorgeous and lovely to work with. I would definitely use this yarn for, and even if you just want 100% merino yarn for babies or something like that, it's a perfect yarn. And with a 3.5mm crochet hook, I think it works up very nicely, and I am true to the gauge which they list in the project, so at least I hope that's gonna be all right. It's classified amongst the drops yarn groups, so I took off the label because they do have lots of information inside, which you can't see when it's on the donut. It's classified a yarn group 8 from drops, which is basically a fine weight yarn. And they have a range of assortment of different yarns with different type of contents that they also classify as A. So I could theoretically use another type of yarn for this exact project. That's not what I'm choosing. I do want this like warm merino wool. I hope it's gonna be something good for a cooler summer evening or autumn evening, or just something that I would like to wear in the winter, maybe with a basic long sleeved top sweater shirt underneath. But yeah, it can be washed at 40 degrees Celsius actually, which is 104 Fahrenheit. It can be ironed, but you have to lay flat to dry. So, and theoretically, you could machine wash the final garment when you work with this yarn, but you do have to lay it flat to dry. So don't do it in the dryer, and don't bleach it, of course. And then it says here, for washing purposes, keep all labels until garment is finished. Not a problem, I will have them. I actually bought 11 of these donuts to be able to make sure I have enough for my full project. And they also recommend you not to use too much detergent, so don't use too much soap and stuff when you're washing it, and then also no fabric softener. And make sure that you are not putting it on high agitation spins, but like a gentle program if you wash it in the machine. Also hand wash it if you can't use a gentle program. That's basically it. I'm really looking forward to finishing up and working more on this project, and I'm hoping that you will enjoy the project that you will see along the line as we go on. So this week I will maybe start on a new hat with a different design that I have in mind. And else it's just mainly going to be progressing on the projects that I currently have running. See if I have yarn enough for the blade blanket. I will make more rounds on this shawl. And of course, the cardigan I have to work on as well. So it's not like it's a crazy big thing. But yeah, so that's kind of the plans for this week. We need to talk a little bit about scheduling before that I will check off for the day. So this week, first of all, I still have a winner from the last giveaway that's not yet mailed me their informations. So please mail those informations. You have 1.5 weeks still to go. So if I'm not wrong, yeah, you should have a 1.5 week to go. 13th of July, I do believe, is the deadline, because I usually give them 2 weeks. And I did draw them last week, Thursday. So if you haven't mailed me yet, mail me. I also have a winner from, I do believe it's a milestone giveaway. And they still have until Wednesday to mail me to claim the prizes. And I'm still missing one at least. So again, mail me. Watch those videos. In those videos, I do have my mail listed, and it is just a question of copy pasting. And yes, it is a by dot, don't forget the dot, myrhøj@gmail.com. Just copy those just after it says, basically have this like mail, and then it says email and colon. Afterwards, that piece is what you need to copy to mail me. Do it because I have the things ready to ship. I really want to send you your prize. But the rain of this week, we have a new giveaway coming up on Thursday, and it has some very lovely acrylic yarns in it. Actually, it's 100% acrylic giveaway. There is nothing else but acrylic in that giveaway. And they have some lovely colors and some other lovely goodies. Stay tuned for that giveaway if you want to win some yarn. On Friday, I have the most awesomest yarn haul ever. Well, I have many awesome yarn hauls, but this is a great yarn haul from Pleta Yarns. They had a great sale a while ago on some papatilla yarns, so I could get extra discount. And I end up buying a full box of papatilla yarns. In fact, it's probably the biggest box I've ever received from a company at any given time. But you will see that, you will have to see that in that yarn haul video on Friday. It is a longer video, so I don't blame you if you first want to watch it in the weekend. But there's lots of new yarns that I haven't seen before, and you get my first time and hand reaction onto those yarns. So I really hope that you're going to enjoy that. Next week, Monday, you will not see me for a yarn talk video because I do have another appointment. These days I am seeing a specialist for some medical stuff that I am going through right now, and he's only available at the hospital on Mondays. So therefore I see him on Monday mornings when I normally make these yarn talk videos. And instead I have made sure that you have a different type of video on Monday to watch. And then I will be back on next week, Tuesday, with my regular yarn talk video. I think that's about it for now, and I will go on and get some research done on some lightning so that I can get progressed on getting a much better setup for me when I do my tutorial recordings. But also I can imagine this will also be very useful when I'm going to do more comparison videos on different yarns and yarn reviews and reviews of crochet hooks. So as I mentioned earlier in this video, please comment on what you would like to see when you watch reviews and what can help you make the right and best decision for your next investment in either yarn or crochet hooks or any other accessories. Let me know. That's it for this time. Take care, and I wish you a very great week ahead. And yeah, stay tuned and be subscribed, basically.